Leo had dreamed of this moment for years. On his 16th birthday, standing outside his grandmother's cottage in Nice, he stared at the gleaming red Vespa before him. The chrome mirrors reflected his wide-eyed excitement, and the soft leather seat called his name. His parents had sent him to France for the summer, hoping he'd soak up the culture and improve his French. But now, with this Vespa, his summer had just turned into an adventure. His grandmother, Meme Jeanne, watched with an amused smile. "Promise me, Leo, you won't go too far," she said, though she knew it was useless. The moment he got on that scooter, he was going wherever the road took him. "Promise," Leo said, barely containing his excitement. As soon as he strapped on his helmet and kicked the engine to life, the Vespa purred beneath him like a cat ready to pounce. He had no set plan, just a backpack with some clothes, a baguette, and a map he barely intended to use. The open road was calling. "The journey begins!" Leo took off down the winding coastal roads of the Côte d'Azur, the salty breeze whipping through his hair. The Mediterranean shimmered to his right, and the scent of lavender and sea air filled his lungs. He had never felt so free. His first stop was Antibes, where he wandered through cobbled streets and stopped at a tiny cafe. With his broken French, he ordered a croissant and a café au lait. The old man behind the counter chuckled, but served him anyway. As he sat outside, he noticed a girl about his age sketching in a notebook. She had dark curls, a smudge of charcoal on her cheek, and the air of someone who saw the world differently. "Cool Vespa," she said in perfect English, not looking up. "Thanks," Leo replied. "You from here?" She glanced up, amused. "Kind of. I live in Paris, but my mom dragged me here for the summer." Leo grinned. "I was just thinking of heading to Paris." She raised an eyebrow. "On that thing?" "Why not?" she smirked. "I'll give you one piece of advice. If you're going on an adventure, at least do it right. Go through Provence. Take the back roads." Leo liked the sound of that. The girl, her name was Camille, scribbled down a few notes in his map. "Go through the lavender fields near Valensole, then Avignon, then maybe Lyon. If you don't get lost at least once, you're doing it wrong." "Got it," Leo said. "Want to come?" She lies try, "But maybe I'll see you in Paris if you make it." Through the lavender fields. The next day, Leo set off toward Provence. As he rode through rolling hills, the scenery changed from the blue coastline to golden fields dotted with stone farmhouses. Eventually, he found himself in Valensole, where the lavender stretched as far as the eye could see. The air was thick with its scent, and the hum of bees filled the air. He stopped to take a picture and nearly dropped his phone when an old man on an ancient bicycle appeared from nowhere. "You look lost," the man said in French. Leo laughed. "Maybe a little." The man nodded. "Good. Lost is the best way to travel." Leo ended up sharing a meal with the man's family, eating fresh bread, cheese, and olives under the stars. That night he slept in their barn, the Vespa parked safely beside him. Mishaps in Avignon. The next morning, Leo continued to Avignon, where he found himself in a medieval city full of winding alleys and hidden courtyards. Unfortunately, he also found himself at odds with the city's confusing one-way streets. At one point, he turned onto what he thought was a road, only to realize too late that it was a pedestrian walkway. A group of tourists scattered, and an angry shopkeeper waved his hands at him. "Non, non, c'est interdit! Désolé, désolé!" Leo shouted, awkwardly reversing the Vespa. He parked near the famous Pont d'Avignon and sat by the river, catching his breath. A street musician played the accordion nearby, and for a moment, Leo just listened, soaking it all in. A surprise in Lyon. By the time he reached Lyon, Leo felt like he had been on the road forever. His clothes smelled like adventure and maybe a little like cheese. He stopped at a small hostel, and as he was checking in, he heard a familiar voice. "You actually made it?" He turned to see Camille leaning against the doorway, her sketchbook under her arm. "You didn't think I would?" he asked. She shrugged. "Most tourists take the train." Leo grinned. "Where's the fun in that?" That night, they wandered through the city together, eating crepes by the Saône River and talking about everything. Paris, art, music, the best places to get lost. Before she left, Camille tore a page from her sketchbook and handed it to him. It was a drawing of his Vespa parked beneath a lavender field with the words "Keep Going" written beneath it. The final stretch. Leo's last stretch to Paris was filled with rainstorms, bad directions, and one nearly disastrous breakdown outside Dijon. But somehow, he made it. When he finally rode into Paris, the Eiffel Tower glowing in the distance, he couldn't stop smiling. He had done it, his first road trip, his first real adventure. And as he parked near the Seine, he spotted Camille sitting on a bench, sketchbook in hand. She looked up, saw him, and smirked. "Took you long enough." Leo laughed, shaking the rain from his jacket. "Next time I'm getting a faster Vespa." She patted the seat beside her. "Tell me all about it." And so, under the Parisian sky, Leo began to tell the story of his greatest ride.